At this time, I would like to ask our IT professionals to start the audio tape recordings of the regular meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia Board of Commissioners, and to admit any members of the public who have chosen to listen to the meeting online.
The public has been let in, and the recording has started.
Thank you. My name is Sharice Reyes, and I serve as General Counsel of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, also known as Atlanta Housing. Before the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners is called to order, please consider the following announcements. We welcome the members of the public who have joined us in person in the Pecan Room at the Atlanta Housing Headquarters located at 230 John Wesley Dobbs Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, for this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Atlanta Housing. We also welcome the members of the public who have joined this meeting via audio conference. There is also an option to view the meeting live streamed. Members of the public can find the link in the notices section on the Atlanta Housing website. Please be advised that any members of the public who wish to address the board during the time for public comment period must have signed up on the public speaker sign-up sheet at the front door of the meeting prior to the time the meeting is called to order, or have sent in a comment by the time set in the notice of the meeting. A link to the meeting agenda, board resolutions, and presentation materials are available for review by the public by accessing the Atlanta Housing Board Docs link on the Atlanta Housing website at www.atlantahousing.org/notices.
All right. My name is Larry Stewart. I serve as the chair of the Board of Commissioners, and I'm now calling this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, to order. Today is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, and the time is 2:03 p.m. Will the General Counsel take the roll to determine a quorum for this meeting?
Larry Stewart,
I'm here.
Sarah Kirsch, Joel Alvarado,
Here.
Matt Bronfman, Rosalind Elliott, here. Tony Martin, Bentina Terry. Here. Mr. Chair, there is a quorum present.
Right. So there is a quorum present, and now we will. Okay, got it. The agenda has been presented to the board for review and comment. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda? All right, so moved by Commissioner Elliott and seconded by Commissioner Terry. Is there any discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Didn't hear any nays. The motion is carried.
The minutes of the regular Board of Commissioners meeting held on January 28th, 2026 are before the board for review and comment. Are there any proposed corrections to the minutes of the regular Board of Commissioners meeting?
All right, hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on January 28th, 2026?
So moved.
May I have a second? Second. All right, so moved by Commissioner Terry and seconded by Commissioner Martin. Is there any discussion related to the motion to approve the minutes of the January 28th, 2026 meeting? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote and also recognize Commissioner Kirsch joining us today. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. No opposed. Didn't hear any opposition or abstentions. The motion is carried. Have we had any members of the public sign up to speak or provided comments in advance of the meeting?
Mr. Chair, a member of the public did sign up for comment.
All right. You want to have them have a name and have them come on up?
There's the portion of, do you want me to read it?
Oh, you want to read? Oh, got it. Okay, I forgot. Yes, it's my part. All right, members of the public who wish to address the board signed up on the public speaker sign-up sheet as they entered the meeting. Each speaker who has signed up will be called to the podium and will have 3 minutes to address the board. After those members of the public who are here to speak finish, we will read any questions received in advance via telephone or email. Now,
Our member of the public who signed up to speak is DeJuan Robinson with All in One Organization.
All right. Ms. Robinson?
Hey, good afternoon, board. I didn't understand the protocol here, so usually public comment is at the end. So I don't have any question at this time. I came down just to hear what you guys have to say at these meetings, see how the proceeding go. So I'll wait till your next board meeting to prepare my questions, if any. All right.
Sounds great. And just for you're also, if there are things that you may have been wanted to review in the past, we are streaming on YouTube, and so if you want to check out any of our previous board meetings to prepare for these types of things, feel free to do that as well. Sure. All right, thank you for your comment, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month. We always encourage the public to come and have their say at the people's authority. All right. This ends the public comment portion of the meeting, and I will now speak to our consent agenda. So please be advised that at the Board of Commissioners September 22nd, 2021 meeting, the board approved the consent agenda protocol. There are 2 resolutions appearing below that received unanimous votes of approval at the Board of Commissioners Real Estate Committee meeting and Finance Committee meeting that were held on February 18th, 2026. The collective group of resolutions on the consent agenda will be approved by a single motion to adopt all resolutions and the affirmative majority vote of the Board of Commissioners. If any discussion on any resolution or resolutions is desired by a commissioner, the commissioner must make that desire known to the chair immediately following the reading of the consent agenda items, and the resolution or resolutions will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately, or at the discretion of the chair, a discussion may occur prior to the vote on the consent agenda resolutions. Moreover, if a commissioner simply wants his or her vote to be specifically recorded on any particular item, separate votes may be taken on the resolutions. Will the General Counsel identify resolutions on the consent agenda for the record?
Before you are copies of the following consent agenda resolutions. Resolution number 26-08, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to extend the term of the Home Flex Payment Assistance Agreement for Columbia South River Gardens. Resolution number 26-09, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to acknowledge and accept the annual comprehensive financial report and independent auditor's report for the fiscal year ended on June 30th, 2025 and June 30th, 2024, and the report of independent certified public accountants in accordance with government auditing standards and uniform guidance for the fiscal year ended on June 30th, 2025.
All right, in accordance with the Audit and Finance Committee's recommendation, we will have an abbreviated presentation by our CFO, Abdel Altamimi.
Good afternoon, Chairman Stewart and ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Commissioners. Oh, sorry. Is that better? Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to present to you our abbreviated presentation for the annual audit results and our annual audited financials report. For this presentation, I'd like to introduce Gabby Miller, who is the lead auditor for CLA, which is the firm that, the third-party firm who has handled this audit for us.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, the commissioners. I am Gabby Miller. I'm a principal at CLA. I've been at CLA for my entire adult career, so almost 13 years. My very first job was a public housing authority, so I spend pretty much 100% of my time auditing and providing professional services to housing authorities and housing-related entities. And as Abdel said, we did perform the audit of Atlanta Housing for the year ended June 30th, 2025. So first up, I'm going to quickly go over the agenda, where I will outline the audit scope, the audit opinions, give some financial statement highlights, and then just add some steps for the engagement finalization. So services performed, so as you can see there are quite a few services that we did perform for the Housing Authority. The first was our financial statement audit, or our ACFR Annual Comprehensive Financial Report for the year ended June 30th, 2025, in accordance with government auditing standards. We also performed the federal single audit in accordance with uniform guidance. We performed a closed grant report over grants that were closed during the fiscal year. We also submitted the data collection form, or the DCF, to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse, or FAC. We also submitted the financial data schedule to REAC, or the Real Estate Assessment Center. And then lastly, we submitted the required governance communication letter. Any questions on the services provided? Nope. Okay, so next up is our fiscal year 2025 audit opinions for both the federal award audit and the financial audit. They were unmodified opinions. So it's a clean opinion, the best opinion you can get. So kudos to the team on those opinions. For federal awards, we did test the Moving to Work program, the Housing Voucher Cluster, as well as CDBG, or Community Development Block Grant. And there were no findings, no management letter comments, no issues or concerns with either of those audits. So next up is the 2025 financial highlights. So right here, you'll kind of see a comparison from fiscal year 25, fiscal year 24, and fiscal year 23. One of the main items that we look at and want to see is that net position increased. Now, as you can see here, it increased from prior year by about $116 million, which is great to see. But you can also see that there was an increase in overall net income, and that's mostly due to the development activities that the authority is participating in to provide housing throughout the city. And here's just kind of a synopsis of what happened throughout the year. And as you can see, one of the highest amounts of revenue is those capital contributions, which the authority uses for that continued development. Any questions on this slide? Oh. Okay, so lastly is our next steps to finalize the engagement. As I said, we just did submit the ACFR to GFOA, where the authority is up to receive a certificate of excellence for submitting that ACFR, which is additional information to the association. We did submit the data collection form to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. The REACT submission we will be working on this week, and then, as you can see, and what I'm doing right now is present to the board in February 2026. Any questions on this? Nope. Awesome. So that was it. It was great working with the team. This was our third year with the audit. It gets more and more efficient and every year. So thank you to the team and everyone involved.
All right. So is there a motion to adopt and approve the consent agenda containing resolutions 2608 and 2609?
So moved.
All right. May I have a second? All right. So moved by Commissioner Terry and seconded by Commissioner Elliott. Is there any discussion related to the consent agenda resolutions? All right. Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I didn't hear any opposed. Actually, I don't know if I said aye. Aye. And so no abstentions. The motion is carried. And there are no further resolutions. And so we will now have a report from our president and CEO.
Good afternoon, Chairman Stewart, as well as our fellow commissioners. First and foremost, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your leadership and your partnership, but I have to digress for a moment because we just passed, the resolutions we just passed included the FY25 audit, and that was a clean, unmodified opinion audit. And so I want to recognize the team, the Department of Finance. So many of them are here, but I would like to have them stand so that we can recognize and thank them for their great work. Now I'll get back to my talking points. But in the times that we're in, I just could not gloss over the fact that this agency is not only financially stable, but we're positioned and elevated for great growth. And so today, as I stand before you, I also want to thank Mr. Robinson for coming for public comment. DeJuan has been someone I've known over the years, although I was surprised to see him today. I was quite surprised to see him today. I do want to recognize him as being not only someone that was born at Grady, but a former resident of Bowen Homes. He left Grady in 1977 and moved to Bowen Homes into 1994. So he spent 17 years at that particular property. But also, since we've been reimagining what Bowen Homes could look like, DeJuan has been very, very vocal in the fact that those opportunities should be made available to the folks who had the opportunity to live at Bowen and to actually stay in that neighborhood. And so we've talked to him several times about economic development opportunities for former residents that are actually in the construction industry. So do want to thank him for coming to our board meeting today. The first board meeting, and something tells me it won't be the last. Awesome. So as I continue my report, I do want to make sure that we really highlight the actions that the board took today. So as we adopted our strategic plan in January of 2023, and we were very key and focused on the fact that we want to not just do housing or create or preserve housing, but we want to also make sure that we elevate activities for families and strengthen the operations of our agency as a whole. And so today's resolution was moving forward with the preservation under strategic goal number 1, moving forward with the preservation of 10,000 units. And so we were able, through the actions of this board, to continue to support the Columbia South River Gardens. It's a 124 unit mixed income development in Southeast Atlanta, and your actions today preserve the opportunity for 51 additional affordable units for a 20-year period. Also, I mentioned earlier, in strengthening our operations, we also passed today the board agenda recognizing our FY25 audit. Again, I'm very pleased and very proud to say that we have a clean audit. And again, it represents not just the great work of our team, but the strong stabilization of our agency as a whole. And so when you think through the actions that we push forward today, it really speaks to, again, the hard work our team is doing in lifting up the ability for affordable housing. But quite honestly, we're moving forward with creating an agency that will last long after we're here. When we think through our executive highlights, one of the things that the board really worked with us on as we were developing, thank you, Kelly, as we were developing the strategic plan, that echo is what's getting me, as we were developing the strategic plan, was really strengthening our partnerships. And so our partnerships were not just on the local level, but really how can we extend those partnerships to the federal level. And so we were very fortunate to work with Senator Williams as well as Senator Ossoff as well as Congresswoman Williams to receive a congressional direct allocation of about $3.5 million. The allocation that we received from Senator Ossoff's office will be used to continue our work at Bowen Homes, while we'll continue to utilize the resources from Congresswoman Williams' office to continue to work at Thomasville Heights. What is important to note is that both allocations will be used to support infrastructure work. As we've shared many times, our dollars from a capital perspective are able to use to help mobilize affordable housing development, but the gap that we often see is infrastructure. And so the fact that we're able to utilize those dollars to further our infrastructure efforts is very critical for us. We also, from a financial perspective, are still moving in a very strong trajectory. As you recall, for our FY25 budget, the allocation was about $453 million. As of the end of January 2026, we're at an expense of about $244.2 million. So our expenses are in line with our activity. From a year-to-date perspective, though, we are about 9% under budget. That is by design. One of the things that we're trying to be really instrumental in doing is making sure we have cost containment strategies as we move and navigate this federal environment that we're currently in. When you think through our strategic progress, Chairman Stewart reminded us during the last committee meeting, not to gloss over the progress that we've made to date. So I am pleased to tell you that today our first goal of create and preserve 10,000 units, we're over 80% at that goal. This agency has moved forward very aggressively, and I think that really deserves an applause. If I could stop for a moment. Yeah.
That's called not glossing over it.
Yeah,
There it is right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on,
I
y'all.
don't,
Clap it.
I don't ask for much today, but but I but I do think we should recognize the hard work and moving forward aggressively in the creation and preservation of affordable housing units, because we know that for every housing unit, that really is a family that we're extending our efforts to help. And so we're excited about the fact that next year will be the end year of our strategic plan, that we will meet and exceed our goal of creating 10,000 units. We also would like to highlight for you that the QR code, I invite you to really look at the QR code, because that gives you an idea of the real live progress that we're making under the strategic plan. That is a live website that the public can actually go to as well to see how Atlanta housing is performing. The numbers that are currently present on the dashboard are to date as of January 31st, 2026. And so as I think through lifting up in a real life example the strategic progress we're making, I have to start with our children. We recognize that the mayor has said that Atlanta will be the best place to raise a child, and so Atlanta Housing wants to do its part. And so we partner with the United Way of Greater Atlanta to create what we call learning spaces. Right now, we've launched the first learning space at Roosevelt Hall. We launched that initiative in December of this year, and to date, we've serviced about 64 individuals, with 39 of those being children. And essentially, what we have created is a safe hub for our grandparents to bring their grandchildren, to actually have us read to them, to read books and teach them different things. And this is helpful because so many of our grandparents are serving as the caretaker for so many young children. This gives them not only an outlet, but it also gives a learning environment for our children to thrive. So we're excited about that. We're planning to launch our second one at Zell Miller later this fall. And I will say, I want to say from a financial aspect, this partnership is only costing Atlanta Housing $25,000. The remaining funds are being raised through United Way of Greater Atlanta through their partnership. So for $25,000, we have the opportunity to bring to the children that we serve an environment that they probably would not be able to experience on their own. So I have to be honest with you. When I think about this slide, this is really, it goes back to goal number 3, and it's creating opportunities for our families to thrive. And we had an opportunity to share with our seasoned residents, our seniors. And Chairman, they told me to stay with my day job. I tried to dance. We had a sweetheart dance, and I thought I was going to get out there and do boots on the ground. And so, but they've told me to do what I do best, and and to stay away from that. But just this past Tuesday, we had a chance to visit with our seniors, and we had over 461 senior residents come to Roosevelt Hall. So that told me that in the first year that we've already outgrew the space, and so we'll be looking for a second space next year. But what was really important were the partnerships that we were able to lift up. The American Heart Association was present, as well as Kaiser Permanente, Eat Right Atlanta, the Atlanta Regional Commission, and also Evans Family Medicine. And those partnerships were there in order to help our seniors understand the different things they need to do to make sure they take care and maintain their health. And so we were able to not only invite our seniors to an environment where they could have health care access, but we also had fun at the same time. With the exception of my senior that told me not to dance anymore, I plan on going back next year as well. And then last but definitely not least, last Thursday, in this room, we had an opportunity to host Katie Kilpatrick. Katie is the president and CEO of the Metro Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. And this was a part of the Salon series that we launched over this last year. And we've had the mayor visit with us, Ann Kramer, as well as Milton Little. But what was so exciting about the conversation with Katie is that it was a direct link to economic mobility and affordable housing, and how housing is really the driver to the economic competitiveness of this entity. We had over 104 Atlanta housing employees participate in the Salon Series. And the Salon Series really is our way to make sure that our employees, and more importantly, our agency, is integrated into the larger conversations happening here within this city on the things that actually directly impact us. And so we are excited to continue the Salon Series. We were excited to have Katie Kilpatrick join us. And I'll tell you what we find is during the salon series, that's the first time that many of our guests have visited our agency. They've heard about our agency, but they've never stepped into the confines to understand who we actually are and the families we serve. And so this is something we use as an opportunity to not just communicate about our impact, but also to lift up our partnership opportunities. And with that, Chairman Stewart, Board of Commissioners, this concludes my report. But before I conclude, I know I thank the finance team, but I have to extend my sincere appreciation to the entire Atlanta housing family. The work we do, as you often say, sir, is not just hard work, it's hard work. And I thank our team members for each and every day they show up to make sure that we can serve the 47,000 individuals that we serve. So thank you, sir.
Thank you for that report. Oh, man. Give him, 2 claps. I like it. All right. Are there any comments from our commissioners today? Sounds like everybody wants to go. All right. Well, that said, I will only make one comment, and that is,
Yes,
so I want to say thank you to our newly, appointed chair of our Finance and Audit Committee. Commissioner Terry jumped in with both feet, super excited to do this work. And so I just want to say I appreciate her and her leadership as we were working through getting this. And I say that, it's kind of in tongue in cheek, but it's not easy to learn. Look, I guess Commissioner Elliott, Commissioner Kirsch and myself have had 3+ years. And so it took a year or two to kind of figure this place out and to know when to say, yes, we're doing great, when to say we need to think about that more, and when to just shut up. I still probably haven't figured out the shut up part, but I just wanted to just say it's not, I don't take it lightly that that you've kind of assumed and been able to be able to step into that role and help us. And when we have a clean audit and you have a great team, that makes it also that much easier. But I just want to say thank you in that regard. And so with that, super excited. Thank you for your report. It touches on all the things that we talk about, which is continue to communicate about how we're making progress towards our strategic goals. In this climate, it is definitely at least gives us some sense of relief that the work that we started in I think a different time with different headwinds, well, probably with it wasn't headwinds, what was it, tailwinds, and now some headwinds, we're still making the progress that we need to make on behalf of the people of our city. And so I'm always excited to hear that we're still on track and there's no yellow flags or red flags that are being thrown up from our team. And so I appreciate all of you, the staff, and all of you out there who are making this work happen. So with that, I will, we got a little bit of change. We learned that there's a different way we should be doing this Robert Rules of Order. So I'm going to ask whether or not by unanimous consent, whether or not we can adjourn this meeting. So is anybody willing to give a motion for unanimous consent to adjourn?
Motion for unanimous consent to adjourn.
All right. I don't know that we don't need a second because we just can say yes. So all in favor of that unanimous consent, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. And so with that, we are closing this meeting. It was so moved by Commissioner Kirsch. Didn't need a second. And the time for adjournment is 2:29 p.m.